The Immaterial Games podcast with these guys. We can't be here all night. It would be like the world's worst dance club.
Well, I'm not sure that my first snap was anything to go by.
The second one sounded fine.
Yeah, because that was a clap, not a snap.
Doesn't really make a difference. I could hear 3 separate claps, snaps, whatever they are, so it'll be enough to level it up.
Yeah, we're all good. We know how to run this show by now.
Well, I'm not sure if
You
my
think?
snap worked at all because you guys supposed to disappear.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Well-
50% of 4 doesn't equal 4, does it? Oh well,
Yeah.
that's a shame. So we're gonna sit here with old Marvel film spoilers. You know, it just have it there. Jeff Bridges was the villain the entire time.
No.
Yeah, you know.
Superman kills Thanos.
What?
Spoiler RL.
Superman kills Thanos.
Spoiler alert. Spoiler
Perfect.
alert.
Yeah. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert.
More of an inert spoiler.
Hey! You having fun there? Oh, that's going to be a nice bit of cutting that I'll need to pick out, because that just picked out every bit of rummaging through.
Well, you 3 were boring me.
Wow. Oh, look at this, Mr. Precious Time here. Right, okay, in that case, in order to make sure that we can do with the time that we so severely lack, this is the Immaterial Gamers podcast. This is episode number 40.
Woo.
So, we have more podcasts than the entire Infinity Saga. What of it? That's just how this works. We just have less spoilers, contract disputes, and we don't get Hollywood premieres. But we try. So, based on that, I'm Ryan, and I've got my co-cast with me here. I've got Darius,
Hello, everyone.
I've got D,
Woo!
and I've got Martin.
You'll do, I suppose.
Oh, what do you mean? You'll do.
You'll do.
That's not how this works. I do the hosting, you do the co-hosting.
Oh, you wanted a hi.
Yeah,
Ah.
Okay. Hi, guys.
there we go. Right. And this warm up thing that we do before we get into it, I feel it just gets a little bit weirder every week. I mean, look at it. We've got 2 people sat round a mic. To anyone listening, just imagine there are 2 people sat round a mic, and then 2 people from their headsets or onboard audio or something else from across the city.
Woo.
Probably gonna say across the sea.
Across the sea? No, that would have been if Duncan was around.
Or
Steph.
Stab.
Gonna be, Well, that's going to be
Yeah.
actually a first, to be honest. We don't have the other half.
Yeah, what, we don't have a Canadian?
Yeah.
So it's like, what, Game of Thrones, there must always be a Stark. No, it's not, this doesn't work like that. What, the Immaterial Gamers podcast, there must always be a Canadian on the podcast.
Well, no, it's, yeah. Yeah,
I
we
mean,
don't
we
have...
could... Yeah, I mean, we could see if we could get
Is it
that working. but-
transatlantic?
Yeah. Yeah, the Immaterial Gamers Transatlantic podcast, filmed from around the globe.
Yeah.
But no, this one is Manchester and surrounding areas this week, so, yeah. Now that you get a little bit more of an idea of how the operation works and the locations and logistics of everything, let's completely ignore that entirely and move to what's been played.
What's being played?
So, D,
Yes.
you've not been here for a while.
Last few weeks I've been playing Drum... Oh, this week I've been playing Drumper, and... is it
Danganronpa,
that one. And
Trigger Happy Havoc. And how's that been going then?
I've got to the 3rd one now, and I've completed 96% of Watch Dogs. I've got
Yes.
to figure out what the last 4% of Watch Dogs is, since it's not story-based.
Right, it'll be collectible stuff, that, generally. But let's go back to Danganronpa, and Martin made a very valid point on this.
We refer to it as Fuck It Bear.
So, yes, it's called... Martin calls it Fuck It Bear. Martin and Don, who work on the website as well, also call it... they call it Fuck It Bear. Monokuma is the name of it. And so we want to go back a little bit, because, let people try and, grab their head around this one. What is Danganronpa? for those who don't know.
It is it's a story-based, like, RPG thing, where you got to interact with stuff.
Yeah.
Well, other characters, and you've got to try and kill each other. But if you get caught, if the black and one gets caught, they die in the most spectacular fashion. If the black and one wins, we all die.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, to distill it at its most basic, it's a visual novel.
What is a first for me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, but it plays closer to the visual novel style of something like Ace Attorney.
Objection.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, exactly that game. So it's basically there's a lot of text and story-based stuff. It's got a little bit of dating sim friendship meters involved on it. So meeting characters would cause, or like talking with characters would cause you to get benefits and skills, which then get used in the trial portions of the game. As Dee was talking about, there is a lot of murder, and you then have trials to solve them out. And you said you've finished chapter 3 now.
Yeah, I've completed just finished chapter 3.
So yeah, generally, there'll have been at that point, would say there's
over half a
been
dead
a
now.
few deaths. Yeah. So they start with it's a battle royale style setting. There's 15 of them, and they and
one goes bump every night.
pretty much. Well,
every few nights.
yeah.
Just whilst I remember, Dan or D,
Yeah.
Affleck's in Manchester. Other niche stores are available. Do a Fuck It Bear hoodie.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've seen done on in Fanboy as well. Not Fanboy.
Other card stores are available.
It's not like we're sponsored by him, so
Forbidden Planet.
Yeah, a lot of Danganronpa stuff. Basically, if you ever see a bear that's white on one side with a little smiley face, and then is black on the other side with this weird ass lightning shaped grin and eyeball, then yeah, you've met Monokuma. Fuck it, bear. So yeah, are you enjoying your trip down the Danganronpa franchise?
Other than the fact that I tried to turn the audio down and it's like, nope, still super loud. It overrides everything else audio wise.
Yeah, it's a bit. I know it's not been ported the best,
but
I mean we're talking about a game that used to be on the PSP.
But yeah, it's different. I've not played a story-based game for a long time.
Yeah, I'd have to say it's probably of the visual novels that I've played, it is very, very close to Ace Attorney in terms of being my favourite.
I've never played Ace Attorney. I've seen you play Ace Attorney, hence I got the whole objection.
Yeah, and that's what got me into sort of the visual novel idea. And it's like, well, you're just reading a book, aren't you? So, well, no, you're kind of reading a book while playing a point-and-click adventure game. Or, in terms of Danganronpa, with its crazy mini-games.
Well, yeah, you got the mini-games for Danganronpa, and the fact that you've got to choose who you talk to, and you don't know if they're going to die anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, like, I got a skill off one of the dudes, and he's like, oh, he's dead now.
Possible spoilers. The second or third version of the game has 4 Fuck It Bears.
Yeah, that'd be Danganronpa V3. Killing Harmony. Yeah. There's a Monokuma in that has 4 kids. 5 kids.
But there's lots more than just the one, and they're multicolours.
Yeah, the Mighty Morphin Power Bears.
But yeah, I got it with the Japanese thing that's been going on Steam.
Yeah, the
Golden
Week sale in Japan on various stuff, but yeah, I could see where it was on Steam. So yeah, I hope you do have more fun with the Danganronpa. You'll find the batshit crazy story to get even more batshit crazy, and I feel it'll be right down your anime alley.
Yeah. Well, what's the? Do you know when you get to the end of it and you start? Does it have like a replay thing, or do you have to start again?
Yeah. No, it has a new game plus.
So that way you could actually figure out who you need to talk to and give them the gifts from the thingy machine.
Well, yeah. Because there is actually ways of 100% in the game that provides a wildly different ending. It's non-canon, but it's a different ending.
Because to get some of the skills, I'm going to have to give the right items to the right person at the right time.
Yeah. Some obviously have an easier attempt at it than others.
I couldn't figure it out. I figured one person out. I was like, oh, that's pretty simple. Where the other one was just like, really? So it's been very hit and miss if the person likes the gift or not.
You'll generally find items that you'll know what items are available for some people based on their habits.
But I noticed with the ones I give to the anime dude, the ultimate fanfic is miniature figurines and stuff like that.
Yeah, miniature figurines, manga, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's my some of them I've worked out. Like I saw a martial arts book and I went, "Oh, that'll go to the martial artist."
So yeah, there we go. Cool. Right.
Moving on to someone else.
Yeah, let's move it on, and we'll go to Darius.
Hello.
Hello. What is a game that you have been playing this week or
Recently.
over the past couple of weeks?
Other than yourself.
Dear God.
What? Steph's not here to do it.
He doesn't even go that far. Wow. That's saying something. So, Darius, yes, mate.
Apparently, I was only playing with myself.
Ah, shit. How was that? No.
No, to be
the
serious,
game.
no. Seriously, I've not been really playing much because I fatigued due to work, etc.
Mhm.
So I've tried to rest my eyes as much as I could.
Yeah.
And I was watching, for example, the new Avengers
Of course.
with my eyes almost closed
Yeah, that's not great.
because it was too bright. I couldn't stand it. So yeah, my eyes were a little bit not good, but they are getting better now.
Good.
And I was playing yesterday and today where is it? I don't remember really the title. Give me a thing. Thronebreaker, The Witcher Tales. There you go.
Well, of course you would have been playing something like that with your Witcher, your Witcher love. So yeah, I've seen little bits of Thronebreaker, and it's a different style.
It's complete. Well, it's made with the same people who made The Witcher. However, the whole style of the game is completely different.
Yeah. So yeah, please go ahead.
It's literally like a story narrative game.
Hmm.
And there's loads of story, loads of lore, loads of reading, and the only action in the game is a card game, the GWENT.
Hey, Gwent.
Yeah. So in the original game, that was like a kind of like side thing to do, play the GWENT. But
you're saying that's the focus in this one.
But it's the focus on this one. It's purely made for the GWENT only.
And so for those who don't know what Gwent is, the card game that took over and ended up sort of being so popular that like CD Projekt Red went and GOG as a combination did it, didn't they?
Yes. Because since The Witcher 3 was released, the Gwent gained so much popularity that they decided to make it like a standalone game for the players. So yeah, there was the Gwent, The Witcher card game, which was mainly focused on online battles where you can play against the other players.
Do you think it's going to be a tabletop?
And then just give me a second, Don. And then they decided to make a full-blown single-player game with Gwent focus only.
Yeah, which is what Thronebreaker.
Which is Thronebreaker, and it's basically kind of like before or during the Witcher books.
Right.
However,
so this is separately to Geralt's.
It's in the same world, but you don't have Geralt involved in the story. You still hear about him doing some things, but he's not directly involved in it. It's mainly you have a big war between Northern Realms and Nilfgaard, and that's kind of where the book's kind of starting.
Yeah.
So do you mean it in a similar way to what Lord of the Rings Online did? You were sort of aware of what the big characters were doing, but you were doing your own thing in the background?
Kind of, but you're doing your own big thing anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. There's like Lord of the Rings Online. There was War of the North as well. Was sort of the other one. So you had like characters that were in there. It's like I remember this. Like the three characters, you had this dwarf, this elf, and this ranger. They would rescue the eagle, that would then rescue Gandalf from
White Tower.
Isengard, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that sort of linking without directly affecting.
Yeah. Well, it's not mainly linking to the other Witcher games. It's mainly linking to the books.
Ah, right.
Because you have the games after the books, and that game is more related to the books than to the games.
It's more of a lore base.
Yeah, and and oddly enough, because I bought the collector's editions of the game and then the collector's edition of the DLCs for Witcher 3, I do have like a physical copy of Gwent.
Nice. Which I love the idea, and I mean as a trading card game.
Well, it's not
an interesting concept.
It's not a trading card game. It's like, well, it is in the game, but not in the physical ones. Because when you bought the physical copy, you got all the cards which are in the game, and you just based on that, you're just building your deck.
Yeah, but I liked its rules as well. Like this whole that you had to do this best of 3 match, which because it was simple. It was like whoever had the most power between you or your opponent when you both stopped playing cards won the round, and it was a best of 3 to win that. But you were limited in the fact that minus outside factors, the cards that you drew were the cards that you had for the entirety of the match.
Yes.
So you couldn't just go all out in one.
Yes, you had to kind
round.
of like plan it.
Yeah. So you had to sort of plan ahead. I mean, like the outside factors, there were some that allowed card draw. There were some that allowed you to replay sort of creatures or play stuff from outside of the game. But yeah, they were part of the tactics that you had to do. So how is that in the way that works in Thronebreaker? How is that?
Well, let's start with the fact that they rework the mechanics.
Right.
So first of all, in the old Gwent in Witcher 3, you had 3 lines where you could deploy your unit.
Yeah.
So ideally it was for melee attacks, range attacks, and then the third line, all the way on the bottom, was for war machines.
Yeah, so
ballistic, catapults, that sort of things. However, in this one you've got only 2 lines.
Right.
Moreover, it doesn't really matter where you deploy them.
Right. Would there be mechanics that would affect each of those 2 rows though?
Yes.
So yeah.
But I mean, there is nothing stopping you to deploy archers in the front line and sword masters on the second. Okay, it's not wise because
if say someone places something that does actions to the entirety of the front row.
Exactly. You lose the archers. However, it's sometimes advantage to have the archers on the front line because the archers have only 2 lines of range.
Yeah.
So if they are on the second of your lines, they can only hit whatever is on the first line of the enemy.
So could you stagger them, maybe?
Well,
so
there is, kind of depend. All depends on your tactic. You can build very nice cars to literally like swarm the first line and get even on top of it like ×2 points, the victory points. Or you can like play it safe, build both lines equally and throw a few spells at the enemy.
Yeah.
So you are still limited to 25 cards per battle. I'm not entirely sure how much you drew for the game, for the match, for the 3 turns, but I think it's way less than 25. I think it's like I might be wrong, but I think it's 12.
Yeah, because remember it was generally something like that. It was like 10 or 12 or
So you from 25 cards in your deck, you're drawing 12, and you're drawing only I think 4 cards per turn basically. I'm not entirely sure how that's gonna work later on because I'm like only a few hours into the game,
Yeah.
so it might have changed. But for now, it's like each turn I'm drawing 4 cards from this 12 and
Okay.
trying to win the battle.
So,
Yes, the unused cards carry over to the next round.
so that's how they're sort of changing it based on the original Gwent then.
Yes, there's loads of changes. There's even if there is the whole cards, every single card have been reworked.
Mm.
So if
Cool.
there was like really good cards, let's say in the original game, it will not find that same card in this game.
Fair enough. And
It's like
based on that to
yeah, it's seriously a like completely new take on the game with just general rules from the original Gwent from The Witcher.
And are you enjoying it?
Oh yeah, I do enjoy it because it's kind of like my thing, and I would like to know what happened to all those kingdoms before everything started. Because
Cool.
in the books you have like mentioning something happened, but in this game they kind of like going into the details.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like basically it's extending backstory, extending the knowledge of the whole Witcher world.
Yeah, so it's just extended world building, really, isn't it? So, yeah, cool. So far, we have had the Fuck It Bear and the High School Murders, and we've had world building via card building. So, Martin, what's next?
Frowned on by the gaming society.
You're going back to one of your favourites.
I'm going to a phone game.
What
mobile
now?
game.
Okay.
Because the main things I've been playing the last week or two is the stuff that I've already spoke about before, and I've not really got anything to add to them. So instead I'm going to talk about a mobile game that I go back to every now and then when I'm a bit bored.
Right, and what is that mobile game?
My mobile game is called Anti-Yoi.
Anti-Yoi. Oh, it's that one.
I have no idea where the name comes from.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is a turn-based strategy where each team is allocated a colour. It's on a hexagonal grid of varying shapes. There are small amounts of people units and a small amount of building units, with each type of unit having a level between 1 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll start out with your basic villager being a 1, your spearman being a 2, your then slightly armoured guy being a 3, and then your completely armoured up longsword knight being a 4. And then the only thing that can beat the unit is one higher than it until you get to the 4s, which can then take each other out.
Okay.
The buildings also have levels on them, and can usually, you've got houses and farms and 2 levels of defensive towers. Houses can be taken out by anyone. Farms can only be taken out by a level 2 dude. And then the varying towers are for the level 3s or level 4s to take out. And basically it's you take over the map before your opponent does, and make sure you don't leave any back doors.
Back doors.
Hmm.
So how successful are you normally on these?
It's more PvE than it is PvP. So
Eventually,
there is a campaign to it, which I've got to about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through, and then got stuck. And then there's skirmish and player created levels. The player created levels depends on how harsh the person's feeling, whether they're actually defeatable at all.
like with most player level based things.
And it's basically you get money based on the amount of space you've got on the map each turn. And some of the player levels start you off with 2 spaces, so you're getting barely anything coming in. And then each unit you build takes some of your money each turn. So I can't remember the numbers, but say your basic villager takes 1 gold off you per turn, and you've only got 2 spaces, you're only gaining 1 gold per turn, so that's you at a flat rate of 0, not able to expand.
Well, that basically seems cheeky as God knows what.
But the idea behind it in general play is that you will have a bigger area and build it up over time, and therefore you have got to keep an eye on the economics of it. Making sure that your income is at least even with your expenditure, if not higher than.
Yeah, I had that problem with another game, the City Skylines.
Yeah. it does kind of have those little bits of tweaks into that from what I'm hearing. Then like this sort of resource management because of sort of the lack of units, so that's a bit more important.
There is that aspect to it, but it's very much because it's a mobile game back to basic.
Yeah.
You've literally got like one space without a farm on it will give you 1 gold. A basic villager will cost you 10 gold to buy and then 1 gold upkeep per turn.
Yeah.
As an example of some of the numbers. With each level of unit becoming substantially more upkeep based each turn. So there will come a point if you're not constantly building farms that cost you more each one you build, you will end up at a point where you either run out of money to buy the unit, or your upkeep's too high, at which point the following turn it kills all of your units because you can't afford to feed them.
Nice.
That's harsh.
At that point, your opponents who have kept their economy going stomp into your ground by about 4 tiles each direction.
Yeah.
And then you can just about afford to build your one guy back up because that's all the money you're getting in.
Nothing better than just cruel monopoly by way of starving people out.
But then you have to take into account as well that each of your defensive towers also have an upkeep cost. So if you put your defensive towers in the wrong place and then your opponent wipes you out when you've run out of dudes, your upkeep will still be more expensive than you actually getting in, so you can't build anything back until the enemy hits you in the right place to free up your money.
God, less anti-yoy, more anti-fun. You have the,
I can see why it appeals because of the number things.
You have the most masochistic of mobile games.
Well, we've always discussed the fact that if I was to make a game, nobody would play it.
Well, yeah. I mean that could be its own separate. That could be its own separate podcast. That.
Let's just sum it up with massive punishment, low rewards.
Yeah.
And no real risk to take.
Just put it in terms of footballers for a second here.
Oh.
In my eyes, if a goalkeeper doesn't save a goal, he should have his wages docked.
Yeah.
If a striker doesn't put a goal in, he should have his wages docked. If a striker does put a goal in, he gets a shake of his hand and said, "Well done for doing your job."
Yeah. Notice how he didn't say he gets a goal bonus. And in the same way, if a goalkeeper gets a clean sheet,
"Well done, you've done your job."
no player would join his team.
No.
And in that point, no game developer would take up his concepts. They're that cruel.
You have to be cruel to be kind.
Think of it this way. People would love to play Dark Souls as an alternative to a Martin game.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
Dark Souls.
Yeah, when Dark Souls would be the alternative. So, yeah, cheers Martin for anti-yoy. So, yeah, strategies, card games, visual novels, and then me. So, we all know at this point that I like myself an RPG, yeah?
I'm taking it in... Not Destiny, the other one.
No. Nope.
Division.
I said an RPG.
Oh, I don't know.
No. It's the remaster of Square Enix weird tactical RPG, The Last Remnant. So, yeah, this was an RPG that came out in 2008, and you played the lead character of Rush Sykes, an amiable, optimistic, if not a little dumb.
Porn star.
Nope. Nope. He's, you usually get the stories of, oh, this is a warrior, this is this. No, he's just a kid who was on an island with his sister, and his sister got kidnapped.
Okay.
And you join him in the story of literally not knowing anything. Where's my sister? What's this battlefield? Who's that woman who obviously doesn't look like my sister? And why does she look like my sister? Honestly, that's the first few minutes.
And wasn't there a dragon involved in it?
A dragon?
A dragon or some sort of like a monster?
Maybe. There's monsters. There's flying monsters.
Yeah.
There's like a flying dude. So yeah, noticed that it was on the PlayStation as a remaster. It's had the Final Fantasy X 10-2 treatment.
Oh.
And the Final Fantasy 12.
Is this the game you've been playing where they've been like wandering around and everybody's bowing down to this guy and your main character's just like, "You're right there, Dave"?
Oh yeah, Dave, yeah. So Rush, yeah. So he meets
no respect for authority.
Yeah, he meets the leader of this town called Athlum, and he's Lord David, the Marquis of Athlum, and everyone calls him Lord David. Yes, my lord. Sir, like this. Rush walks in and goes, "Hi, Dave." Hi, Dave. I mean, in that point, you're supposed to really call him Dav. I mean, it's David, not David. So therefore, Dave makes no sense. But, yeah, the combat in the game is different for Square Enix Fair, to be honest, as well. It's that, so you don't control individual characters. And you, because of that, you don't control their individual skills. So they all have them. They have combat arts, physical attacks, basically. Mystic arts, magic attacks. Restoration arts, healing and stuff like that. They also have support skills. But you put them together in groups called unions, and you control the tactic of each union. So you don't say, right, you hit with this spell and you hit with this spell. You'll have options like charge, which is like run towards an enemy and attack them. Hit them with combat arts, hit them with mystic arts, keep your HP up, turn the battle around. It's all sort of combat commands for each union as opposed to each individual unit. And then, based on that, they're all on this battlefield, and they can all run and cross into each other. The feature that will just come up straight into it is deadlock. So two armies or two unions will run into each other, and they will continue fighting until one falls over and dies. At that point, that unit can then choose a new target. They can choose to run off, but it plays a D&D style attack of opportunity on there as well.
Put one of the unions to heal one of the other unions.
Yeah, they're all part of the commands, but it's all context based. So they won't heal unions that aren't injured. They won't get that option.
You don't get to say who they heal. You just get to tell them to heal someone that turn.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, it's, like I say, it's all context based, and what's clever about it is they do have a little bit of an AI in there as well. So let's say you choose keep your HP up because you've took a little bit of damage as a union, which is also the other thing. Individual units can be knocked out, but if the HP of the union disappears, all units, no matter how well they possibly are, they fall.
Oh, okay.
So but yeah, you use
like
this keep your
morale
HP up thing, and let's say one of them restores their health. The other units that haven't had their turn yet in that combat command will then reassess based on how they've been attacked leading up to their turn. So they won't. The AI is clever enough that they won't waste their turn if they've got another option.
Oh, okay.
So it can go up. I've had it happen where I've restored my health at the beginning of the union's turn, and then 3 down the line, the enemies have just missed with all their attacks, so I'm at full health. So one of them just changes to a combat art and just decides, well, I might as well get a lick in on this enemy while I'm here. So it's I like how it's a little bit clever. And they don't have levels, so it's just like every fight you're in just has chances that they increase all of their stats, and some of them seem useful, like HP and AP, their ability points, and then gluttony and love are stats that can also increase.
Oh, jeez.
I don't know why. I don't know what they do.
Well, gluttony is some kind of food thing, or...
Yeah, but in the context of fighting, what does gluttony provide?
Punishment. So they
You can
enjoy
eat
fighting.
mushrooms.
Could also be that if they eat too much outside of the battle, then they slow down in battle.
Maybe?
But I have, however, just realised why I win more games than you do. You lick your enemies, I punch them in the face.
Ha ha ha. Get a lick in, as in get an attack, you fucking... But yeah, no, I'm enjoying it.
Ryan hates the Sundays I'm on early shifts.
Yeah, pretty much. This just sort of leads into, Ryan becomes the butt of the joke.
He said but.
Huh. I say but all the time. Anyway, so yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's still punishing like God knows what. So yeah, so it did get a bit though. I got to a boss, and the first action was I ran in with my group, and then sat there and watched as every unit went towards my team, and they all attacked and killed me. Which, if they kill Rush's team, doesn't matter who else is alive. Game over. I was like, twat.
Whereas I did see you spend about a good hour and a half last night basically one-hitting enemies.
Yeah.
So it can't be that punishing.
Well, the bosses are a lot different to the main the main enemies, as is every Square Enix game, to be fair.
It's like, is it Deus Ex? Is Square Enix?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bosses in Deus Ex, it's just like, really? I've had to have you fight one of the bosses for me. It's just like, nope.
Well, that was probably because of Deus. It was Mankind Divided, which was initially the one on that, and that's.
Yeah, I went all stealth, and this boss is like, nope, I'm just gonna hit you with artillery and stuff. It's like, oh, joy!
Yeah, that's because Eidos decided at one point, in a game where stealth was key, they wanted boss fights that could only be solved with combat, which compared to the old Deus Ex games was fucking stupid. Why did you think that was gonna happen?
It's like, yeah, I've got all this stealth tech. It's like, yay! I can stealth here, stealth there, and it's like, hi boss. It's like, oh shit, I have no damage.
Well, this was the thing, D. Old Deus Ex games, you could beat bosses by talking to them. Conversation was a way of beating the bosses, and they didn't have that in Mankind Divided or the other one. So, you know, I mean, they improved it with like the updated edition, but it should have been there in the first place. Anyway, yeah. Before I get too crazy, let's wrap the games or the what's been played section up, and it is time to move on.
News.
Yes.
News time.
News time. So, let's start with this one. We'll go with Games Radar, and I know that we keep seeming to start every week with, oh, what's happened with BioWare and Anthem now? But you know, if they just improved, we wouldn't need to talk about them, because the game would be fine, and the production would be fine, and everything would be fine. You know, this idea of...
Everything would be awesome.
Yeah, you know, this idea that any publicity is good publicity is bollocks when it comes to BioWare. And let's think some developers have had enough of it.
Don't really know much about either of these, but from what little I've read, it's basically half of the development team have fecked off to something else.
Yeah. So
rather than sticking with it for its 10 years it was supposed to have.
Yeah. This is supposed to be that Anthem was supposed to be having a Destiny-like constant cycle of content. And, well, we saw what happened with Destiny, to be honest, so I don't know how BioWare and EA thought they were going to be able to do any better. And, you know, for the history of why BioWare fucked up, check all our other podcasts out. We've talked about this for about 10 different podcasts now, so, you know. But the update on this is that 3 of the lead developers at BioWare have jumped off the Anthem project.
One of them's gone on holiday.
Well, a sabbatical, which is basically, I can't take this anymore.
And 2 of them have literally thrown in the towel, said, I've had enough, I'm off onto that project.
Yeah, so there was executive producer Mark Dara, gone. Lead producer Michael Gamble, gone. And lead director Jonathan Warner, holiday.
I'm off on holiday.
Yep. So,
that's not good.
So, yeah. And that's then said that like a lot of them, the developers from Anthem, have pivoted onto Dragon Age 4, which, while that might make Steph happy, it's also made Steph sad. Because he wants a new Dragon Age game, but he also wants Anthem to be the good game that he wanted it to be in the first place.
So, double-edged sword.
Same. Yeah, same. So I mean, the game's been out for when did it come out? End of February. It's not even 2 months.
And people are jumping ship.
Yeah, people are jumping ship. They're already moving on to the next big product. They've already delayed the content that was due to come out this month indefinitely.
Oh jeez.
So they're already screwing up 2 months into their 10-year lifespan.
Yeah.
That's not good.
And let's think of it this way. Generally, so the bigger game developers give it a little bit of a longer time because they want to maximise the money that could be bought on it. And let's be fair, Anthem does have the microtransactions. They're cosmetic only.
And you need players to buy them.
Yeah. So, yeah, they usually look to try and give them a bit more time, and because of the microtransactions, which are cosmetic only, which is a thing, because it's not like you're trying to force, you know, cards that make you stronger than everyone else. Battlefront 2.
Pay to win.
Yeah, well, it literally was. But, yeah, still, there've been smaller developers who've done this. It's like, oh, here's a game that's coming out. 2 days later, we're shutting the service down. They're like, gee, you know, Like, surely this is in the business plan that... I mean, what were you looking to make? What were you intending to try and rake in here? Because that sounded like anything other than all the money wouldn't have been good enough. And you're a small developer. You're not an Activision or an EA who can turn around and, market your way to getting money in, then just to say that your game's fallen below expectations.
You've got to find the middle ground. You can't go through winning it all, but you also can't go through hemorrhaging money.
Mm.
So if their servers are costing them, I know they won't, but costing them 10k a month, and their game is therefore only earning 1k a month, that's not sustainable for any length of time. Yeah, if it's making, say, 5 to 8k, you can see yourself through to see if it pulls through.
Yeah, but this is the thing that I've got with Anthem, is that currently, particularly in terms of post-game content, there isn't. And with these live services, as they keep calling them, there needs to be a reason for people to be there to get the money for the other stuff. And if they're not going to develop anything,
then there's no point.
What's the point? Yeah, exactly. And so, and what's the point of the game being there?
It's like rather the opposite. Like GTA 5 still releases content regularly, like every Wednesday or something, or Thursday or something like that.
See, a lot of players wouldn't necessarily have a problem if it was a small amount of content every week. Because they could come on, do their hour of it, keep the toe in the water, so to speak, and then go off and play something else for the rest of the week. And that could bring them some money in, but if they're not releasing anything, they've got no reason to pull people back after they've completed the story.
Yeah. I think in the time that's come out now, I think that BioWare have released one piece of the roadmap. That's another annoying turn of phrase these days that they're using as well. They've released one stronghold, the dungeons of the game. By this point, they were supposed to have had two, and a raid, or cataclysm.
Roadmaps seem to be the way forward at the moment, though, because Star Trek Online's been doing that.
Yeah, it's
once a month. Here's what we're planning over the next month, just so you're aware.
Yeah, it's the game industry catchphrase of the year, really. I mean, that one though, what I kind of liked, I guess, with the Cryptics one compared to EA's one, was EA's roadmap was, this is what's coming out. This is when it may come out. From what it sounds like with, it's not really Cryptic anymore, is it? It's Perfect World that run Star Trek.
Yeah.
They're providing updates.
Yeah, because it's very much this, starting this month, this weekend will be extra this on stuff, that weekend will be extra this on stuff.
Yeah.
So they're giving you their mini events ahead of time. Oh, and by the way, on the 15th, we're releasing the next story mode episode.
Yeah. So that they've got something going. So while the content might not be massive all the time, they're at least letting people know what's going on. What BioWare's done here is they've gone, well, we were going to do this, but we're delaying it. And then stonewall silence from there. There's been no real communication since that point, and now people are leaving.
It's like the Warframe every other weekend is the vendor turns up, then every 3 months you get a new frame, or a new time frame.
It's just literally a little something different to tempt people back to it for a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, Digital Extremes, you mentioned Warframe D. Digital Extremes, they've got that right as well. They have live streams every week, barring, I think they've had a couple of times where they haven't due to personal stuff, or it has just fallen on a convention date and they just couldn't possibly do it. But yeah, they're keeping in touch with their community. They're letting them know what's going on. They're not hiring they're not hiring a community manager and not actually giving them any sort of updates themselves. Turns out Digital Extremes has a good community manager. Perfect World at that point has a competent community manager who's allowed to give them updates. It seems that even at BioWare's side, this whole thing, they've not got anyone who can actually communicate. It's a PR nightmare.
I think also, though, it depends on the staff you've got. Because I know I keep going back to it, but with Star Trek Online, middle of last month, there was a post put out on the news for it, and it was basically the artists behind it it was just this like page rant about how, yes, I finally got the opportunity to redesign the bit I want to redesign. If they've got that much of a belief in it that they've been pushing for it for so long, then it's gonna be good.
Yeah.
And it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Whereas if the staff don't believe in it anymore, it's already gone.
Yeah, and that still leaves up to think. I find it hard, sort of
Like
like
3
indie
o'clock.
developers and small studios can have community managers and PR people that are so much better than.
Also, if you've just had 3 of the higher ups just go, nope, fuck it, we're jumping ship. It's not going to do much for the morale for the rest of the team.
Yeah, morale that is already rock bottom in that place. With the crunch that they've had, that's led to a game that hasn't been great, completely aimless direction in terms of how to run the thing, and people just giving up. Yeah, it's not great. I mean, we'll keep monitoring it, but
I mean, that I just mentioned, I've just remembered what it actually was. It was the character creation suite. So it was nothing integral to the game. But because that person had been pushing for it for so long, they were finally happy that it had happened and that come across.
yeah,
Because all it needed was a coming soon update, 1 paragraph message. But it was screens and screens of this woman bragging about the fact, yes, I finally got it, I want to do this for you.
yeah.
A little bit of the character creation side of it.
But we'll move on from there because that's just more depression really.
Yeah.
So let's look at an interesting change of tack for Platinum Games. Now
Okay.
we know that Platinum Games make good spectacle fighters. Bayonetta, Vanquish,
Okay.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, because what better buzzword than mixing revenge and vengeance together and getting revengeance.
Oh, actually, I got Bayonetta again this week.
Yeah, you got Bayonetta twice.
Yeah, I got it through the 360 and I just bought it for the PC.
Wow. But yeah, they have fan bases as shown. But what you may have noticed a lot of the time, really, apart from Bayonetta 2,
I didn't know there was Bayonetta 2.
unless you had a Wii U,
Oh, okay, that's why.
you wouldn't have it. And that's part of Platinum's frustrations. They're on the idea that the games that they're making, they're needing to go to publishers to get the games off the ground, and that then ends up with the IP of the game in
Being
the
shifted.
publisher's hand.
Yeah.
And that's why we've not had. That's why even though Vanquish was critically acclaimed, it wasn't commercially a success. But and it's set up for a sequel. It's why we haven't seen one, because Sega have got the rights, and they don't want a sequel. Bayonetta only happened because
Nintendo.
Yeah, thank you. Nintendo decided to go, all right, yeah, we'll do that at the cost of it being an exclusive, which means no one really played it, because how many of us have got a Wii U?
Everyone.
No, they don't.
No.
Everyone considered getting one, then changed their mind.
Yeah, part of that was as if Steph was here, he'd say part of that was the confusion of whether the Wii U was supposed to be an expansion or a separate console, along with
Yeah.
all other sort of questions that come up.
Is the Wii U the one with the tiny, remotes that
Green.
split in half?
No, that's the Switch.
Oh, okay.
So yeah,
The U was the one with the tablet-like device that come with it.
Oh, okay. So you could
That
then...
could-
The gimmick
so-
was meant to be that you can
It was portable.
shove it from one to the other.
Yeah.
but in the same room, whereas the Switch is now an actual fully portable device.
I don't know
So-
if it's thingy, but I just got a message saying he's here, so Steph's landed in Canada.
Ah, well, Steph will have already been in Canada for 2 days by the time this podcast comes out.
Yeah, he's made it in one piece.
But yeah, so just to get on with that then. So they've decided that they're going to go into self-publishing. So this will be an interesting change of pace for them, according to Destructoid. They spoke to the head at Platinum, Atsushi Inaba. I've probably massacred that name, but
I give them 2 games till they go bust.
Yep.
which is funny because they've got 2 games that they're looking forward to releasing, and my God, I want it to work for them because I love their games. Bayonetta.
Well, yeah, don't take us wrong,
Definitely.
Ryan. we want it to work. However, without big bank account,
I don't have the money to
it
do
will fail.
You say that.
Depends on
I
if
want to
you
give
can
you
get someone
two
to back
words
them.
as my counter argument. Devolver Digital.
What's that? Oh! Okay.
Yes.
Wait, my brain's trying to work it out.
Still.
Yeah, Devolver Digital. Publishers of indie stuff and, their own games. Stuff
okay.
like Hotline Miami and Genital
Yes,
Jousting.
but they producing AAA games.
They producing indie games. Well, no, but sorry. You're saying Platinum are producing
Yes,
AAA games.
Platinums.
Right?
They literally need millions of millions to make one game. And then if they want to sell it themselves, they have to sell it for a kind of equal amount of money.
Okay, another two words then. Ninja Theory. They're doing alright on their self-development. They managed to bring out Suenia's Sacrifice, Hellblade.
Yes, but
And
how
that
long
got critically acclaimed, that got money.
How
and
long they've been on the market?
Less time than Platinum.
Well, okay, fair enough then.
Depends if the hopefully they can get it to work.
Yeah, I have faith. It might be, like you say, Darius, it might be optimism that's, unfounded, but I've got faith.
Well, hopefully they just don't tank like Fallout and stuff. Yeah.
Well, if I would say if they will not go too ambitious
Duke Nukem.
to create a new games, it will work. But if they spend too much money on creating the game and not earning enough of it, then then that will be a problem.
Yeah, it will be. But they've managed to, they've been successful with everything they've had. Nothing really of theirs has flopped in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
Even Bayonetta 2, it was successful in its own
platform.
In its own regards. I mean, I've got to remember at this point, I'm seeing an image right at the bottom is of that page was Nier Automata, the one they did with Square Enix, which is at that point by far their most successful one, really. Mainly because of the fact that, such a good game. Combat mechanics were there, the story was good, and it's done something with New Game Plus I have never seen really before.
Okay.
That it's been out for a while now. Basically, you completed the story, and you chose. So you got to the main ending A, and you then got option of New Game Plus. So you'd run New Game Plus. You weren't running for ending A again. You were then playing the game from a different perspective. You were running the same story, but from another character's perspective.
Okay.
And then you got to the end of that, and you'd get ending B, and it would offer you New Game Plus again. Run New Game Plus.
Again.
Well, New Game Plus, and you were then playing as multiple characters, now continuing from a divergent path after endings A and B. And it sort of looped around, and you weren't necessarily, you were playing new games, but quite literally. So, Platinum were on that with Square. And I gotta think that's a game based off a joke ending for an old medieval game. So, but we are running through quite a lot of time here. So let's end this off with a nice resolution to a jokey story. So, in 2013, there used to be a April Fool's page available from Razer, the people who do all the game peripherals and all that. They said they were going to do a toaster. It was quite clearly a joke. We've got an old picture as it shows from PC Gamer here. It was the classic Razer look, neon green on black, and they were going to make a toaster.
That's got to be Steph's, like a bucket list for Steph.
Maybe.
It's green.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's mostly black.
Yeah, it's black with green.
Yeah.
Steph's more green with black.
Eh.
But yeah, it was formerly known as Project Breadwinner, according to this PC Gamer article. But yeah, it was a giant April Fool's joke. That didn't stop fans though, who put likes on the page. They went and showed their dedication that they wanted this actual Razer toaster. 12 people tattooed themselves with either the Razer logo or the toaster or something to show their support for this project. So now Razer have give up.
And actually, are they going to make it?
Yes.
Huh.
So they're looking to it. So the project lead now, or Razer CEO, sorry, Min Lang Tan, is supposed to say, yeah, I'm going to put together my team of designers and engineers. It will take a few years, but I'll be sure to share the progress. Because he stated that they were looking to, they had a target, which was to hit 1 million likes. They got 44,000 likes and 12 tattoos, which each tattoo was equivalent to 100,000 likes.
Okay.
So as you'll see, they'll have made 1.2 million and the change of 44,000 likes. So, yeah. Look,
They'll make a fortune off it though, because it'll be limited edition, this, that, and the other.
yeah,
Only 10,000 ever made or whatever.
yeah.
And then people will be clamouring for them.
Oh, yeah. And have you seen the price of a Razer keyboard though? They're like 80 quid.
That's
Sell
also
these off at
expensive.
250 quid each. They have some colour changing light bulbs on there, depending on how long the toast has been in there. As the PC Gamer article said, maybe see if they can find a way of getting your gamer tag toasted into the bread. You know.
I still kind of want the Cylon toaster or any of the toasters from Big Bang. They go through different ones, don't they?
I want to basically make sure all you fuckers get the Talkie toaster out of Red Dwarf.
No, I would want to smash that to pieces.
Currently
Eventually
not
it would-
seeing the problem with a bog standard toaster.
But this one will glow green. It'll provide no actual benefit
Does
to
it
toasting.
cook the bread?
No, it probably won't. It's like a Razer product. It'll probably fail after 2 years.
Does it cook the bread for 2 years? Ish.
Maybe. Planned obsolescence. It'll be like an iPad. So, yeah. So, based on that, speaking of planned obsolescence, it's time for us to finish. So, we'll move this to the wrap up. So, if you have liked what you've heard and laughed at, hopefully, then
Subscribe and stuff.
yeah, please do the like, share, subscribe thing. Click the little bell. After we finish, there'll be an end screen for clickies to other various bits.
Okay.
Keep a lookout on the projects that we've got. You know, Roleplay Not In My Games. If you want to watch me slowly descend into madness, playing Resonance of Fate, I'm getting there.
Too slow, I'll just club you around the head.
Nah.
You
Yeah.
said Descend into Madness. You could always play Madness Descends.
No, I'm fine. So we got that. Then obviously podcast comes out on the day that you're listening to it. We've got General's War Table for all your grand strategy or turn-based strategy affairs. Play session if you want to watch us all argue with each other. Sometimes it's fun. Sibling rivalry when Duncan and his sister Andrea want to either work together or not. Meep, 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 says the car outside.
But yeah.
And Rum says another one.
Aren't you
And
and
then-
Darius, aren't you and Thingy's working on a project?
What project?
You and
Well,
Steph?
Oh yes, thanks D. Yeah. Darius and Steph are looking still to continue their project, which we'll talk about the title when it actually comes out.
We will
I know
bring
the
it
title
when it's
portion.
ready.
Yep. But then we got the not so regular but could possibly be more regular content like something immaterially different, where any one of us could decide to look at games that are slightly odd, not necessarily always the usual sort of games, like Roombo, a stealth game where you play as a vacuum cleaner. And
Okay.
and then we've also took our branch into opinion content as well with an Immaterial take on. And again, that's open to any of the Immaterial gamers if they've got an opinion on something that they think they want to talk about within sort of 8 to 10 minutes or a little bit more.
Aren't we sort of... Oh, actually, no, maybe not.
Then they can come on. Like we've had the first one. I sat there and while ill talked about the Sonic the Hedgehog movie trailer. Already mentioned it. Duncan does want to look at the games as a services fraud video, and basically if we've got opinions and we want to record it, they'll end up on the channel at some point. So look forward
Keep
to that.
watching.
Yep, keep
And
watching, keep
listening.
listening. Aye. So at that point, thank you to D, Darius, and Martin.
No problem.
And until next week, please, for God's sake, don't kill each other.
We will try
And
not to.
We'll see if... Yeah, we'll
I
see if...
make no promises.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if Steph's... We'll find out how Steph's trip's gone. In a couple of weeks.
Yeah, we will. Provided he's not being jailed for kidnapping like you tried to plan last week.
Or being chucked into Niagara Falls for annoying someone.
Yeah, that sounds like Steph. Sploosh. Right, have a good one, guys. We'll see you then.
See you later. Bye bye.